Hello, welcome to another of our FME educational webinars. And today our focus is on how FME can be utilised in the water industry. So we're going to look at some examples from working with our customers. So just some introductions. My name is Mary O'Brien and I work as a consultant within the FME division at Spatial. I'm also joined today by my colleague Charlie Doherty, who will be monitoring the chat should you have any questions. We will do our best to deal with anything in our Q&A at the end of the session, but if we can't deal with it then, we'll follow up with you afterwards. So if you could leave us some contact details to enable us to do that. If it's your first time with us, you're very welcome. We are Spatial and our focus as a business is to help you unlock the value of your data. And as a business, we focus our attention on three core vertical markets, so government, utilities and transportation. And we offer dedicated solutions in each. We are a software development company in our own right. We've been building software for some 50 years to help our customers manage their data quality. But we also recognise that there are other companies in our space that can complement our expertise. So we work closely with a number of partners, and today my focus is on our platinum partnership with Safe Software. And they're the makers of the FME platform. Safe are based in Vancouver in Canada, and we're a reseller partner in the UK, Australia and the US, with experts also in Ireland, France and Belgium. So here's the plan for today. We're going to look at some examples from the water industry where FME is being used to unlock data value. I've chosen just a selection under the following themes, so integrating data, processing data and consuming data, and focusing really on capability to hopefully give you a flavour for how FME might help you. Let's kick off then with how we might use FME for integrating data. And it's all about the data, right? And in the water industry, you've got lots of data. You've got your pipe networks, environmental data like water quality and flood risk, and of course customers, so addresses and billing information, customer satisfaction surveys. There's typically lots and lots of contractors, so you need to supply and receive data to manage your operations. And they're just some of the examples that I could think of. And of course, with all of this data, it comes in different sources that use different systems, different applications. So you've typically got lots of different data formats and different structures to deal with. And it can get quite complex, but that's where FME can help. So, for example, you might have incidents reported to your call center, and that's being captured in an Excel file. And our customer database is sitting in an Oracle database. Our water pipe network is maybe sitting in Esri, for example. And we can use FME to access all of that data, merge and join it together and build reports. So we might want to send a list of billing inquiries to the finance team and generate work orders for our ground force or contractors, or pull our back office data into our corporate dashboarding platform, something like Power BI. FME gives you the capability to connect to all of these different data formats and build repeatable workflows to manage it. And if you're new to FME, here's a very simple FME workflow that I've dummied up from this example, and I'll show you how it looks in FME desktop, just so you get a flavour for it. So here we're reading the incidents from Excel with a feature reader transformer. Each of these little tools is a transformer. And then we're linking to our Oracle database to bring in the customer location information. So each of these have got settings. So here we're linking to the customer database, pulling back particular information from the database. And then I'm filtering on the incident type. So if it's billing or some sort of admin inquiry, then I'm passing it along this work stream and I'm writing out an Excel file based on a template for the finance team. And if my incidents are more operational faults, then in this case I'm generating a web-based work order sheet, and I'm using the HTML report generator to enable me to do that. So things that might look like this. Here's our report for the finance team. Here's our report, for example, for the work orders team. So hopefully that gives you an idea for how FME can be used with multiple different data sets. It's a very simple mocked up example, but hopefully it demonstrates the capability. And of course, I can have this workflow running on a schedule with Windows Task Scheduler or with my FME server if I have it so it processes daily. And then it's completely hands-free. But my focus today is more in showing capability rather than a technical session. So the main pointers really, FME supports over 400 formats and it's growing all the time. So check out safe.com/integrate to see all of the supported formats. You can use the feature reader transformer in your workflows, like I showed, to access any of those formats. There's also a growing group of connector transformers that allow you to access data from web services, so things like ArcGIS Online, Amazon S3, and SharePoint, which are becoming more and more common. And if you're an FME veteran, don't worry, there are still the traditional format readers and writers available to use also. There are also lots of ways of then merging and joining your different data sets. So transformers like the feature merger and the feature joiner let you join data based on common values like an ID. The database joiner that allows you to join directly to a database without the overhead of reading all of the database table. Similarly, the SQL executor, that's going to allow you to run SQL statements directly on the database. So, really useful if SQL is your preferred tool. And transformers like the spatial relator enable you to perform spatial joins, so based on relative locations. So there are lots of options available, and what works best really depends on your particular data scenarios and challenges. And having this ability to pull together data from numerous disparate sources is extremely important, not just operationally, but if we think of some of the regulatory requirements from like Ofwat, where water utilities are evaluated based on a set of metrics. So companies earn rewards or penalties depending on their performance. So it's quite important to be able to gather data, analyse it, and report on it effectively. And FME can help you achieve that. Okay, so our second scenario where FME can help you unlock the value of your data is using FME to process your data. I'm sure we're all familiar with data migration projects, be they large or small. So whether you're moving between systems or upgrading to a new platform, or you need to prepare data for a new application, whatever the circumstances. Data migration is one of the most common reasons that people initially purchase FME. It enables you to migrate your data from one format to the other, transforming the data along the way. And one migration path that's particularly relevant in the water sector at the moment is moving your data holding to the new Esri utility network model. And FME can, of course, help you achieve this. Just like any other migration, you need to transform your data to the required structure and adhere to the rules of the target model. So Esri and SAFE have worked together to build some tools to help you do exactly that. They are freely available and you can get them from the SAFE website. I've put the link here. You get quite a comprehensive FME workspace to use as a starting point. So you will need to alter it to suit your particular data sources. You get an Esri asset package template geodatabase, which gives you the structure of the target data model. And there's also some free training resources to help you on your way. So if you are considering migrating to Esri UN, I'd recommend you take a look. As an aside, there is also an additional commercial plugin from SBS based in the US, which might be of interest. So some pointers or recommendations really, use the schema mapper transformer to manage your data mapping. It's a really powerful transformer. You can store your data mappings in an Excel file and manage them completely independently and then apply it in FME. It's amazingly versatile, and really it's the key transformer in any data migration workflow. There's also a really good set of free tutorials on how to use it on the SAFE website, so I'd recommend that. The link is there. Also, make sure you cleanse or fix your data before you go migrating it. Again, FME is transformers that will help you with that. It really just depends on your data. As I said previously, use the Esri template. That will give you the required target structure. And of course, use the official Esri geodatabase reader. So that's the one that uses the Esri libraries, not the Open API format. So you'll need to ensure your FME machine also has an Esri license so that you get the full functionality. Another example under the theme of processing data, using FME to process your OS datasets. We have lots of customers, not just in the utility space, using FME for this. Again, there are resources freely available to assist you. OS have published some FME transformers like this one here that set the style codes. And from the same link, you can get the SLD files that provide styling information, such as the color for those same style codes. OS master map data is shipped as GZ files, so it's zipped GML. But I'd recommend not using the GML format reader. Instead, search for the OS master map reader in the formats gallery in FME. It's a GML reader, but with all the appropriate configuration already set for you. So it definitely makes life a lot easier. Again, the schema mapper is a key transformer for managing your data. And another transformer to investigate is the workspace runner. So the data from OS is usually chunked, so you've got multiple files, sometimes hundreds of files with the same structure. So a really useful technique is to batch process. And the workspace runner transformer gives you that capability. So auto running your workspace multiple times, once for each file. So it's a good one to take a look at. Here's another example. So using FME to process your National Street Gazetteer data, which comes from GeoPlace. This time the data are in CSV files with really quite a complex structure, but again, FME can help. It's got transformers to manage attribution and transformers to build your geometry from essentially text strings. Another use case, let's imagine you have an ArcGIS Online service for managing roadworks. You might have a team of ground workers digging up the road, and then they send a picture with their Toughbook or their smartphone and ship it back to the service as an attachment. Well, using FME, you can pull that data into your workflows and work with it. The trick is to expose the parameters relating to attachments on your ArcGIS Online reader, and then you have that data in your workflow to manipulate. You might also need to use some transformers like the raster replacer for images and the attribute file writer for text files. Or if you've got skills in Python, then you can call a Python script using the Python caller to do the work for you. So, you've got lots of options. And again, there's a really useful set of articles on interacting with the Esri products available on the SAFE website for reference. And an important point, I think often the data we're processing is not perfect, and that's just the reality. So we often need to test that our data is structured as we expect, and if not, then transform it to what we need, cleanse it. So you can build workflows in FME to do just that. So some pre-processing, if you like. I've highlighted just a few transformers that you might want to take a look at depending on your data. And my final theme for today, consuming data. So here we're talking about using FME to connect to data provided by others as a web service. We don't need to process it in-house. We just need to consume it from the web, making requests to the API or the website at the point in time where we need it. And there are tons of examples. A couple I could think of, relevant for today, hopefully, are the DataPoint API service from the Met Office. It's serving up environmental data for locations across the UK. You just need to register to access it. One Network, which is serving roadworks and traffic disruption information, with this nice map front end. But again, there is an API in the background. And of course, there are lots of open source data sets, usually available on a Creative Commons license, but free, publicly available data published on the web from organizations like DEFRA, the Environment Agency, and other public bodies that might be of interest to you. And we can access this data with FME. The HTTP caller transformer is the key tool for sending requests to an API. It makes a call to a data service and then pulls back the data. Simple. But the data we get back is typically in XML or JSON, often with a complex nested structure. But again, FME has a bunch of transformers, just highlighted some here, that help us manipulate that data. So really, the possibilities are endless. And I guess I just wanted to finish with this idea of using FME as your integration tool. So using FME as part of your workflow to integrate tools running in your environment. So for example, you might use FME to read your source data and prepare it for some tool, maybe a modeling tool. Then take that output and use FME to manipulate it to get it to fit the next step in your workflow. I don't know, perhaps your work order management system, or to prepare it for your dashboarding tools, whatever. The key thing being that FME can be the conductor orchestrating your workflow. And FME is a group of caller transformers that can enable integration with external tools. And I've highlighted them here. And then FME server automations running on FME server give you the conductor's baton, if you like, to orchestrate your workflows. And that's a whole other webinar. But if you're interested, take a look on the SAFE website or get in touch with us. And I'll leave you today with some pointers to useful resources to find out what training we offer, what other FME webinars are coming up, or if you want to view some of our previous webinars, go to the on-demand pages on onespatial.com. Just follow some of these short URLs to get a little more detail, or reach out to us at fme@onespatial.com. Definitely make a note of community.safe.com, because that's where all the tutorials and how-to articles are located, including the chat forum where you can ask thousands of FME users what their experience is with a specific challenge that you might have. And if you're already a customer of ours, on active maintenance and support, then you can access our priority support service at support@onespatial.com. If you're not sure exactly what the status is of your existing license estate, just drop Charlie a note either now in the chat or after the session, and she'll let you know what you're entitled to. And that's it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to add them to the chat, and I'll see if I can help. Okay, if there's no questions then today, I shall leave you with my contact details. Feel free to get in touch if you think of anything afterwards. Thank you very much for your time this morning, and we'll see you again. Thank you.